But what if I told you there is a whole side to this alpine paradise that most tourists never experience? What if you could actually survive here on just $900 a month, while surrounded by some of Europe's most sophisticated women and mind-blowing mountain views? Today we're pulling back the curtain on Switzerland, not the postcard version, but the real deal. We're talking about navigating a country where being 5 minutes late is considered a personal character flaw, where your neighbors will report you to authorities for doing laundry on Sunday, and where a simple McDonald's meal might cost you what you'd normally spend on groceries for 3 days. But here's the thing, despite all the rules, regulations, and eye-watering prices, this country has somehow figured out a formula that creates not just wealth, but genuine quality of life that makes expats never want to leave. From the cobblestone streets of Bern to the glittering shores of Lake Geneva, we're about to show you how to navigate Swiss culture without breaking the bank or accidentally offending an entire canton. We'll reveal the dating secrets that work with Swiss women, the hidden food hacks that keep your wallet intact, and the cultural landmines that can turn a friendly conversation into an awkward silence faster than a Swiss train arrives at the station. So grab your hiking boots and your sense of humor, because we're about to explore a country where precision isn't just preferred, it is practically a religion. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll understand why Switzerland consistently ranks as one of the happiest countries on earth, even when a single beer can cost you $20. This landlocked country, roughly the size of West Virginia, punches way above its weight class in almost every category that matters, but somehow manages to host global organizations, produce world-class chocolate, and maintain bank accounts that world leaders would kill for. The geography here isn't just pretty, it's practically engineered for drama. These aren't just hills with snow on top. We're talking about serious mountains that have shaped everything from Swiss character to their economy. The Matterhorn alone generates more tourism revenue than some countries see in their entire GDP. But here's what's fascinating. Switzerland isn't just mountains. The country divides into 3 distinct geographical regions: the Alps in the south, the Swiss Plateau in the middle, and the Jura Mountains in the northwest. That Swiss Plateau? That's where most Swiss people actually live and work. Cities like Zurich, Basel, and Bern sit on this relatively flat stretch of land that runs between Lake Geneva and Lake Constance. This plateau is basically Switzerland's economic engine, packed with banks, pharmaceutical companies, and tech firms that generate the wealth this country is famous for. The lakes scattered throughout Switzerland aren't just tourist attractions, they're cultural dividers. Lake Geneva separates the French-speaking region from German-speaking areas. Lake Zurich anchors the financial capital. Lake Constance connects Switzerland to Germany and Austria. Each lake region has developed its own personality, cuisine, and even dialect variations. What really sets Switzerland apart geographically is how they've managed their natural resources. This country gets about 60% of its electricity from hydroelectric power. Thanks to all those alpine rivers and lakes, they've literally turned their mountain geography into sustainable energy production. Meanwhile, those same mountains that provide clean energy also create microclimates that produce everything from world-class wine and Valais to specialty cheeses that can only be made in specific valleys. The elevation changes here are wild. You can start your morning in Locarno at 650 feet above sea level, feeling Mediterranean vibes with palm trees and warm weather. Then take a train up to Jungfraujoch at over 11,000 feet and find yourself in an Arctic environment with glaciers and snow year-round. This vertical diversity means Switzerland basically contains multiple climate zones within a few hours of each other. Switzerland's position as a crossroads between Germanic and Latin Europe has shaped everything about the country. Roman roads still influence modern highway routes. Medieval trade paths through alpine passes created the foundation for today's transportation networks. The country's famous neutrality isn't just political philosophy, it's geographical necessity. When you're surrounded by major powers and your main assets are mountain passes and strategic location, staying neutral becomes survival strategy. Living in Switzerland means accepting that punctuality isn't just appreciated, it's a moral obligation. If you're meeting someone at 2:30 p.m., showing up at 2:25 makes you early, and arriving at 2:35 makes you unreliable. Swiss daily life revolves around routines that would make a military drill sergeant proud. Shops close at 6:30 p.m. sharp and don't reopen until morning. Sunday shopping is practically illegal, except for essentials like bread and milk, and even then, only until noon. The famous Swiss quiet hours run from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. on weekdays and extend through most of Sunday. During these times, activities like mowing lawns, playing loud music, or even flushing toilets in apartment buildings can result in formal complaints from neighbors. The multilingual nature of Switzerland creates fascinating cultural dynamics. German-speaking Switzerland, which includes cities like Zurich and Basel, tends to be more business-focused and efficient. The work culture here mirrors Germany, structured, hierarchical, and results-oriented. French-speaking Switzerland around Geneva and Lausanne carries more Mediterranean influences. Work-life balance gets more attention, lunch breaks stretch longer, and social conversations flow more naturally. Italian-speaking Ticino in the south operates on yet another cultural frequency. Here, relationships matter more than rigid schedules. Family connections influence business dealings, and the pace of life slows down enough to actually enjoy those expensive Swiss wines. The fourth language, Romansh, spoken by less than 1% of the population in southeastern valleys, represents Switzerland's commitment to preserving cultural diversity, even when it's not economically practical. Swiss social hierarchies are subtle but real. Education. Credentials matter enormously. Having a degree from Zurich or University of Geneva opens doors that money alone cannot. Professional titles get used in daily conversation more than in most countries. People introduce themselves as Dr. Mueller or Engineer Weber even in casual social settings. This isn't pretentious. It's how Swiss society organizes itself and shows respect for expertise and achievement. The famous Swiss reserve isn't coldness, it's cultural protection. Swiss people value privacy intensely and consider personal space sacred. Small talk with strangers feels forced and uncomfortable to many locals. However, once you break through that initial reserve, Swiss friendships tend to be incredibly loyal and lasting. The trade-off is that building those relationships takes patience and genuine effort rather than casual charm. Workplace culture reflects these values perfectly. Swiss offices operate with minimal drama and maximum efficiency. Meetings start and end on time. Decisions get made based on data rather than politics, and work-life boundaries stay clearly defined. The downside? Career networking happens more slowly, and creative thinking sometimes gets squeezed out by procedural correctness. But the upside is job security, excellent benefits, and workplace environments where competence gets rewarded consistently. Swiss cuisine goes far beyond fondue and chocolate. Though those iconic foods definitely deserve their reputation, the real Swiss food culture centers around quality ingredients, seasonal availability, and regional specialties that reflect the country's linguistic and geographic diversity. But here is the reality check. Eating in Switzerland will test your budget more than almost anywhere else in Europe. Traditional Swiss meals reflect the country's agricultural heritage. In harsh mountain winters, resti, basically Switzerland's national potato dish, originated as hearty breakfast fuel for farmers. Each region prepares it differently. Some add bacon, others include cheese, and purists insist on just perfectly crispy potatoes with a golden crust. Raclette represents Swiss social dining. At its finest, this isn't just melted cheese, it's a cultural experience where groups gather around special heaters, slowly melting wheels of cheese, and scraping the gooey results onto bread, potatoes, and pickled vegetables. The cheese culture here reaches obsessive levels. Switzerland produces over 450 varieties of cheese, many protected by strict regional designations. Gruyere can only be made in specific Swiss regions. Using traditional methods, Appenzeller gets aged in caves with secret spice blends that families guard for generations. Emmental, with its characteristic holes, requires precise bacterial cultures and aging processes that Swiss cheesemakers have perfected over centuries. But let's talk about the elephant in the room: food costs. A basic lunch at a mid-range restaurant easily runs 25 to 30 Swiss francs, which translates to about $30 to 35 United States dollars. A simple coffee costs 4 to 5 francs in most cafes. Grocery shopping presents its own sticker shock. A loaf of bread costs around 3 to 4 francs. A liter of milk runs about 1.50 francs. And don't even ask about meat prices. A kilogram of decent beef can cost 40 to 50 francs. Here's where budget survival gets creative. Swiss people shop strategically, often crossing borders into Germany or France, where identical products cost 30 to 40% less. The town of Constance on the German border sees thousands of Swiss shoppers weekly, loading up on groceries, household items, and clothing. Gas stations just across the border from Basel stay busy with Swiss drivers filling up tanks and buying cigarettes at German prices. Seasonal eating helps control costs and connects you to Swiss agricultural rhythms spring brings. Fresh asparagus from local farms, sold at roadside stands for reasonable prices. Summer offers abundant berries, stone fruits, and vegetables from Swiss farms. Autumn means apple and pear harvests, plus wine grape seasons in Valais and Vaud. Winter forces reliance on preserved foods, root vegetables, and hearty stews that stretch ingredients efficiently. Swiss chocolate deserves its own discussion because the quality difference is real and noticeable. Lindt, Toblerone, and other mass-market brands represent just the tip of the iceberg. Artisan chocolatiers in cities like Zurich and Geneva create confections that justify their premium prices. The Swiss consume about 19 pounds of chocolate per person annually, more than any other country. They've turned chocolate making into precision engineering, controlling temperature, humidity, and ingredient sourcing with typical Swiss attention to detail. Wine culture in Switzerland surprises most visitors. The country produces excellent wines, particularly in Valais and around Lake Geneva, but exports very little because domestic consumption keeps prices high. Swiss wines tend to be dry, mineral-heavy whites, and light, elegant reds that pair perfectly with local cuisine. Wine tastings offer affordable ways to experience Swiss agricultural heritage, while socializing with locals who appreciate quality over quantity. Mountain restaurants, called Bergrestaurants, provide unique dining experiences despite premium prices. These establishments, accessible only by cable car or hiking trails, serve traditional alpine dishes in settings that justify the cost through pure atmosphere. Imagine eating homemade sausages and fresh bread while watching sunset paint the Matterhorn pink. That is worth paying extra for occasional indulgence. Swiss women carry themselves with a confidence that comes from growing up in one of the world's most gender-equal societies. Education levels here are impressive. Swiss women graduate from universities at higher rates than men in many fields, speak multiple languages fluently, and pursue careers in everything from international banking to biotech research. This creates a dating dynamic where intelligence and ambition are expected rather than exceptions. The dating culture moves deliberately rather than impulsively. Swiss people don't typically engage in casual hookup culture, like you might find in Mediterranean countries or major American cities. Relationships here tend to progress through clearly defined stages: friendship, dating, serious relationship, cohabitation, then possibly marriage. Rushing these stages or pushing for physical intimacy too quickly often backfires with Swiss women, who value emotional connection and genuine compatibility. Meeting people requires patience and strategy. Random approaches in bars or clubs rarely work, because Swiss social circles tend to be tight and established. Better opportunities come through shared activities, hiking groups, language exchanges, professional networks, or hobby clubs. Swiss people bond over shared experiences rather than superficial attraction. so demonstrating genuine interests and skills matters more than flashy pickup lines. The multilingual environment creates interesting dating dynamics. A Swiss woman might speak Swiss German at home, High German at work, French with certain friends, and English with international colleagues. Language choice becomes intimate. Which language she uses with you signals how she categorizes your relationship. Starting conversations in English often works well because it creates neutral ground, where both parties operate outside their native comfort zones. Swiss women appreciate directness balanced with respect. They are accustomed to men who communicate clearly about intentions and expectations rather than playing games or sending mixed signals. However, this directness must be combined with genuine respect for their independence and career ambitions. Swiss society expects men to share household responsibilities and support their partner's professional goals equally. Nightlife in Swiss cities offers sophisticated rather than wild experiences. Zurich's Niederdorf district provides upscale bars and clubs where conversations actually happen. Despite the music, Geneva's lakefront areas offer elegant wine bars perfect for longer conversations. Basel's alternative scene attracts creative types and students with more relaxed atmospheres. But remember, nightlife here costs serious money. Cocktails easily run 15 to 20 francs, and cover charges at popular clubs can hit 25 to 30 francs. The expat community adds complexity to Swiss dating scenes. Cities like Geneva and Zurich attract international professionals creating multicultural social environments. This can work in your favor if you bring interesting perspectives from other cultures, but it also means competing with worldly, successful men from various countries who speak multiple languages and have impressive careers. Swiss people value outdoor activities intensely, making fitness and appreciation for nature important social currencies. Weekend hiking, skiing, cycling, and water sports aren't just hobbies, they're lifestyle expectations. Women here often judge potential partners partly on their willingness and ability to participate in active outdoor lifestyles. This isn't superficial. It reflects deeper values about health, environmental appreciation, and work-life balance. Family relationships matter enormously in Swiss culture. Swiss women often maintain close connections with parents and siblings throughout their lives. Family approval of romantic partners carries significant weight in relationship decisions. Meeting the family represents a major relationship milestone, and making good impressions requires understanding Swiss values around respect, punctuality, and genuine interest in their lives and traditions. The cost of dating in Switzerland can shock newcomers. Dinner for two at a decent restaurant easily costs 80 to 120 francs. Movie tickets run about 18 to 20 francs each. Even simple activities like mini golf or bowling cost more than fancy dinners in many other countries. This economic reality means Swiss dating culture emphasizes creativity and planning over spontaneous, expensive gestures. Swiss festivals blend ancient traditions with modern celebrations in ways that reveal the country's complex cultural identity. These aren't tourist shows. They are genuine expressions of regional pride and community values that locals take seriously, and outsiders rarely experience authentically. Fastnacht celebrations in Basel represent Switzerland's most famous cultural festival, but calling it carnival misses the deeper significance. This three-day event starting at 4 a.m. on Monday after Ash Wednesday transforms Basel into something unrecognizable. Elaborate costumes called larve get crafted throughout the year, often featuring satirical commentary on current political events. The Morgen strike begins in complete darkness, with thousands of participants carrying lanterns through medieval streets, while brass bands play haunting melodies. This isn't party atmosphere. It's ritualistic, almost religious in its intensity and precision. Alpine festivals showcase Switzerland's rural heritage with events that tourists often dismiss as quaint tourist attractions, missing their genuine cultural importance. Alpaufzug celebrations mark the spring movement of cattle to high mountain pastures, decorated. Cows wearing enormous bells parade through villages, followed by farmers in traditional costumes. These festivals celebrate economic cycles that have sustained Swiss mountain communities for centuries. The cow competitions aren't just amusing. They determine breeding rights and agricultural status within farming communities. Yodeling competitions happen year-round across German-speaking Switzerland, maintaining vocal traditions that developed as practical communication methods in mountain valleys. Modern Swiss yodeling incorporates complex harmonies and technical skills that require years to master. These events draw serious competitors and knowledgeable audiences who can distinguish subtle regional variations in style and technique. Wine festivals in Valais and Vaud celebrate Switzerland's surprisingly sophisticated viticultural heritage. The Fête des Vignerons in Vevey happens only once every generation, making it one of the world's rarest cultural celebrations. This UNESCO-recognized festival involves thousands of local participants, recreating historical winemaking traditions through elaborate theatrical performances. Villages throughout wine regions hold smaller harvest festivals where locals share family wines and traditional foods in settings that feel authentically communal rather than commercialized. Winter festivals maintain traditions that help Swiss communities survive harsh alpine conditions. Sylvester celebrations extend far beyond New Year's Eve parties. Traditional Silvesterklassen in Appenzell involves costume groups called Schuppel, visiting homes and farms to bring good luck for the coming year. The costumes, particularly elaborate headdresses representing natural scenes, get created by families over months of preparation. Music festivals showcase Switzerland's position between Germanic and Latin European cultures. The Montreux Jazz Festival attracts international artists, but smaller regional festivals offer more intimate experiences with Swiss folk music, Alphorn performances, and traditional brass band competitions. These events reveal how Swiss musical traditions adapted influences from neighboring countries while maintaining distinctive alpine characteristics. Religious festivals maintain strong followings despite Switzerland's increasingly secular population. Catholic processions in Valais and Ticino feature elaborate religious art and community participation. Protestant regions celebrate Reformation history with festivals that combine religious heritage with cultural identity. These events often include traditional foods, local crafts, and musical performances that connect religious observance with community bonding. Shooting festivals called Schützenfest happen throughout German-speaking Switzerland, maintaining military traditions that date back to medieval defensive leagues. These aren't casual target practice, they're serious competitions involving historical weapons, traditional costumes, and community pride. The festivals include elaborate ceremonies, traditional foods, and social events that strengthen local identity and military heritage. Craft festivals celebrate Switzerland's reputation for precision manufacturing and traditional skills. Watchmaking demonstrations, woodcarving competitions, and textile displays showcase artisanal traditions that support modern Swiss industries. These festivals offer rare opportunities to observe master craftspeople at work and understand how traditional skills evolved into contemporary Swiss manufacturing excellence. Food festivals occur throughout the growing season, celebrating regional specialties and seasonal ingredients. Sausage festivals in German-speaking regions, cheese competitions in alpine valleys, and harvest celebrations in wine regions offer authentic tastes of local culture combined with social atmospheres where locals share pride in their regional specialties. Living in Switzerland on $900 monthly requires strategies that most guidebooks won't mention, and creativity that locals have perfected through necessity. This budget forces you to operate like Swiss students and budget-conscious residents rather than typical tourists or expats. But it's absolutely possible with the right approach and realistic expectations. Housing represents the biggest challenge and requires the most creative solutions. Traditional Swiss apartments cost 1,200 to 500 francs monthly even for small studios in major cities. However, student housing, house-sitting opportunities, and shared accommodations open possibilities for budget survival. WG Wohngemeinschaft arrangements let you rent single rooms in shared apartments for 400 to 600 francs monthly, including utilities and internet. University towns like Basel, Bern, and St. Gallen offer more affordable options, especially during summer months when students return home. House sitting represents an underutilized strategy for medium-term housing. Swiss people travel frequently for business and pleasure, creating opportunities to care for homes, pets, and gardens in exchange for free accommodation. Websites like Trusted Housers and local networks connect responsible house sitters with property owners. This arrangement provides authentic Swiss living experiences in residential neighborhoods rather than tourist areas. Food budgeting requires abandoning restaurant meals and embracing Swiss shopping strategies. Discount chains like Aldi, Lidl, and Denner offer significantly lower prices than Migros or Coop. Though with less variety, shopping across borders in Germany or France can reduce grocery costs by 30 to 40% if you live near border regions. Many Swiss residents make weekly trips to Constance, Lyric, or French border towns specifically for cheaper groceries, gasoline, and household goods. Cooking at home becomes essential rather than optional. Swiss kitchens typically come well-equipped with efficient appliances that help minimize cooking costs. Learning to prepare traditional Swiss dishes like resti, simple pasta dishes, and hearty soups stretches ingredients effectively. Buying seasonal produce from local farmers markets often costs less than supermarkets, while providing better quality and freshness. Transportation costs can be managed through strategic use of public transit passes and alternative transportation methods. The half-fare card costs 185 francs annually but reduces all train, bus, and boat fares by 50%, paying for itself quickly if you travel regularly. Regional day passes offer unlimited travel within specific areas for 20 to 40 francs. Walking and cycling replace expensive taxi rides and short train trips in Swiss cities. Designed for pedestrian and bicycle traffic, employment opportunities exist for budget-conscious foreigners willing to work in hospitality, agriculture, or seasonal industries. Ski resorts hire seasonal workers and often provide housing as part of employment packages. Summer tourism creates jobs in hotels, restaurants, and outdoor activity companies. Agricultural work during harvest seasons pays decent wages while providing authentic Swiss rural experiences, free and low-cost activities become your primary entertainment sources. Switzerland's extensive hiking trail network provides world-class outdoor experiences at no cost beyond transportation to trailheads. Museums offer free admission days or reduced prices for students and residents. Public festivals, outdoor concerts, and community events provide cultural experiences without ticket costs. Budget accommodation strategies extend beyond traditional hotels. Youth hostels in Switzerland maintain high standards while charging reasonable rates, typically 25 to 40 francs for dormitory beds. Camping remains popular and affordable, with campgrounds offering facilities for tent camping or basic cabin rentals. Some religious organizations and community centers provide budget accommodation for travelers and temporary residents. Healthcare costs require careful planning since Switzerland mandates health insurance for all residents. Basic insurance plans start around 100 to 300 francs monthly but can be reduced through PREM/IUM assistance programs for low-income residents. Emergency healthcare costs can be enormous without proper insurance coverage, making this a non-negotiable budget item for anyone staying longer than tourist visits. Clothing and household goods become manageable expenses through thrift stores, second-hand markets, and end-of-season sales. Switzerland's culture of quality means second-hand items often remain in excellent condition. Furniture can be found through online marketplaces, student networks, and seasonal moves when residents relocate. Banking and financial management require understanding Swiss banking fees and choosing appropriate account types. Some banks offer free accounts for students or young adults. Using ATMs from your account's bank avoids transaction fees that can accumulate quickly. Credit card acceptance varies, so maintaining some cash reserves remains important for daily expenses. Swiss transportation systems operate with precision that makes other countries' infrastructure look chaotic by comparison. The famous punctuality isn't just marketing. Trains, buses, and boats coordinate schedules down to individual minutes, creating seamless connections that let you traverse the entire country efficiently and predictably. The Swiss Federal Railways SBB network covers virtually every populated area in the country with services that run like mechanical clockwork. Trains arrive and depart exactly on schedule, with delays of even 2 minutes triggering official apologies and explanations. This reliability stems from massive infrastructure investments, redundant systems, and operational cultures that prioritize consistency over cost savings. The result is public transportation that actually works better than driving for most journeys. Train travel in Switzerland transcends mere transportation to become scenic entertainment. Routes like the Glacier Express traverse alpine landscapes through engineering marvels, including spiral tunnels, elevated viaducts, and mountain passes that showcase Switzerland's dramatic geography. Regular regional trains offer equally stunning views at standard ticket prices, making every commute potentially spectacular depending on weather and seasonal conditions. The integrated ticketing system simplifies complex journeys across multiple transportation modes. A single ticket can cover trains, buses, boats, and cable cars operated by different companies but coordinated through unified scheduling systems. The Swiss Travel Pass provides unlimited travel on most public transportation for tourists, while residents use half-fare cards and annual passes that make regular travel affordable despite high individual ticket prices. Urban transportation in Swiss cities reflects the same efficiency principles applied to intercity travel. Trams in Basel, Zurich, and Bern operate on precise schedules with electronic displays, showing real-time arrival information. Bus networks fill gaps in tram coverage while maintaining coordination that minimizes waiting times for connections. The integration extends to bicycle sharing systems, parking facilities, and pedestrian infrastructure that creates seamless multimodal transportation options. Cycling culture in Switzerland balances practical transportation with recreational activity. Cities provide extensive bicycle lane networks separated from vehicle traffic, making cycling safe and efficient for daily commuting. Electric bicycles have gained popularity for handling Swiss topography, allowing cyclists to tackle hills and longer distances that traditional bicycles make challenging. Many train stations provide secure bicycle parking and rental facilities that support combined cycling and public transit journeys. Cable cars and funicular railways access mountain regions, inaccessible by conventional transportation. These systems aren't just tourist attractions. They provide essential transportation for residents of mountain villages and workers at ski resorts and alpine hotels. The engineering required to build and maintain these systems in extreme mountain conditions demonstrates Swiss technical expertise and commitment to connecting remote communities. With national transportation networks, boat transportation on Swiss lakes offers both practical connections and scenic alternatives to land-based travel. Regular ferry services connect lakeside towns and cities, while providing transportation for commuters and tourists. Lake Geneva, Lake Constance, and smaller alpine lakes maintain scheduled boat services integrated with train and bus networks, creating transportation options that double as recreational experiences. Driving in Switzerland requires understanding rules and costs that differ significantly from other countries. Highway tolls require annual vignettes costing 40 francs, valid for calendar years rather than rolling 12-month periods. Parking in Swiss cities costs PREMIUM prices and operates through electronic payment systems that find violators efficiently. Speed cameras are ubiquitous, and fines for violations reach levels that can seriously impact budgets. The car-free zones in places like Zermatt and Saasfee demonstrate Swiss commitment to environmental protection and quality of life over convenience. These resort towns prohibit private vehicles, relying instead on electric vehicles, horse-drawn carriages, and walking for local transportation. The policies preserve air quality and reduce noise, while maintaining access through electric shuttle services and carefully regulated delivery vehicles. Winter transportation requires special consideration for mountain regions where snow and ice create challenging conditions. Swiss drivers must use winter tires or chains during winter months, and many mountain passes close entirely during severe weather. Public transportation maintains service through most winter conditions using specialized equipment and operational procedures developed Through decades of alpine winter experience, Switzerland's natural attractions extend far beyond the famous peaks and lakes that dominate tourist brochures. The country's compact size concentrates an extraordinary variety of landscapes, from Mediterranean-influenced valleys to Arctic-like glacial environments, often within short distances of each other. The Matterhorn may be Switzerland's most recognizable mountain, but dozens of other peaks offer equally dramatic experiences with fewer crowds and lower costs. The Jungfrau region provides accessible high-altitude experiences through cable car networks that reach glacial environments year-round. However, lesser-known areas like the Bernina Massif or the peaks around Rolla offer similar alpine grandeur, with more opportunities for solitude and authentic mountain experiences. Swiss lakes create some of Europe's most beautiful recreational opportunities. Lake Geneva stretches between Switzerland and France, offering Mediterranean-like climate conditions that support vineyards and palm trees alongside alpine backdrops. Lake Constance borders Germany and Austria, creating international recreational areas with beaches, sailing, and cycling paths. Smaller alpine lakes like Oceanen or Seelp require hiking access, but reward visitors with pristine mountain water in dramatic cirque settings. Glacier formations in Switzerland provide accessible opportunities to observe climate change impacts firsthand. The Aletsch Glacier, Europe's longest, demonstrates glacial retreat through marked positions showing ice extent in previous decades. Cable car access to glacier viewing areas makes these scientific phenomena observable without technical mountaineering skills, though understanding their fragility adds poignancy to the experience. Valley systems throughout Switzerland offer diverse hiking and cultural experiences that reveal the country's geographic complexity. The Engadin Valley in eastern Switzerland combines high-altitude landscapes with unique Romansch culture and architecture. The Lauterbrunnen Valley features dozens of waterfalls cascading from cliff walls into pastoral meadows. The Verzasca Valley in Ticino provides Mediterranean vegetation and emerald green river pools perfect for swimming during warm months. Switzerland's commitment to trail maintenance creates hiking opportunities that range from easy walks to challenging alpine routes. The country maintains over 65,000 kilometers of marked hiking paths with consistent signage, accurate time estimates, and regular maintenance that keeps trails safe and accessible. Trail markers indicate difficulty levels, estimated hiking times, and elevation profiles that help hikers choose appropriate routes for their abilities and available time. National parks and protected areas preserve Swiss natural heritage while providing recreational access. The Swiss National Park in the Engadin restricts human activities to designated trails, creating wildlife viewing opportunities for ibex, marmots, and golden eagles in their natural habitats. Regional nature parks balance conservation with sustainable tourism and traditional agricultural practices that maintain cultural landscapes. Waterfall collections throughout Switzerland demonstrate the country's hydrological wealth. The Rhine Falls near Schaffhausen create Europe's most powerful waterfall, accessible through viewing platforms and boat trips that approach the falling water. The Trummelbach Falls inside Lauterbrunnen Valley channel glacial melt through underground chambers, carved into limestone cliffs. Smaller waterfalls throughout alpine regions provide swimming opportunities and scenic backdrops for hiking and picnicking. Cave systems in Swiss limestone regions offer underground exploration opportunities that contrast with surface alpine environments. The Beatenberg Caves above Lake Thun combine geological formations with cultural history through archaeological evidence of prehistoric habitation. The Hilgerven Caves near Bar feature illuminated limestone formations, accessible through guided tours that reveal underground river systems and mineral deposits. Forest environments in Switzerland range from deciduous woodlands in lower valleys to coniferous forests at higher elevations. The Swiss Forest Code protects woodland areas while allowing sustainable timber harvesting and recreational access. Mushroom hunting, berry picking, and wildlife observation provide seasonal activities that connect visitors with Swiss natural resource traditions. Botanical diversity reflects Switzerland's position between different European climate zones. Alpine flower meadows bloom with species adapted to high-altitude conditions and short-growing Seasons. Mediterranean vegetation in southern valleys includes species more commonly found in Italy or France. Botanical gardens in cities like Geneva and Zurich showcase both native Swiss plants and international nil collections that thrive in Swiss climate conditions. Switzerland consistently ranks among the world's safest countries, but this safety results from cultural attitudes and systematic approaches, rather than just low crime statistics. The Swiss concept of safety encompasses personal security, financial stability, healthcare access, and environmental protection in ways that create genuinely secure living conditions for residents and visitors. Personal safety in Swiss cities allows behaviors that would be risky in many other urban environments. Walking alone at night feels comfortable even in major city centers. Violent crime rates remain exceptionally low, and property crime usually involves opportunistic theft rather than aggressive robbery. However, this safety depends partly on social cohesion and shared values that can make outsiders feel excluded if they don't understand local customs and expectations. The healthcare system provides world-class medical care through mandatory insurance schemes that ensure universal access while maintaining quality standards. Swiss hospitals and clinics use cutting-edge technology and employ internationally trained medical professionals. However, healthcare costs can shock newcomers accustomed to different insurance systems. Basic insurance plans cover essential medical needs, but many treatments and medications require substantial out-of-pocket payments or supplementary insurance coverage. Emergency services operate with typical Swiss efficiency and coordination. Mountain rescue services use helicopters, specialized equipment, and highly trained personnel to respond to alpine emergencies. These services handle thousands of rescues annually, from simple hiking accidents to technical climbing emergencies. Understanding proper emergency procedures and having appropriate insurance coverage becomes essential for anyone participating in outdoor activities in Swiss mountain regions. Pharmaceutical availability and regulation ensure medication quality while controlling costs. Through insurance negotiations, Swiss pharmacies provide professional consultation services and can often resolve minor health issues without requiring doctor visits. However, many common medications available over the counter in other countries require prescriptions in Switzerland, and medication costs can be significantly higher than neighboring countries. Environmental safety standards address air quality, water purity, and food safety through rigorous monitoring and enforcement systems. Swiss drinking water meets some of the world's highest purity standards, often coming directly from mountain springs or carefully filtered lake sources. Air quality in most Swiss locations remains excellent due to strict emissions controls and geographic advantages that disperse pollutants effectively. Financial security systems protect against economic instability through unemployment insurance, disability coverage, and pension systems that provide social safety nets. The Swiss economy's stability reduces risks of sudden economic disruptions, though high living costs mean that financial security requires higher income levels than in most other countries. Banking privacy laws, while reduced from historical levels, still provide some financial confidentiality protections. Education quality contributes to long-term safety through well-funded schools, vocational training programs, and universities that prepare citizens for economic stability. The dual education system combines classroom learning with practical apprenticeships that create career paths for students who do pursue university education. This system reduces youth unemployment and provides economic opportunities that support social stability. Workplace safety regulations and enforcement protect employees through comprehensive occupational health standards. Swiss companies must maintain safety equipment, provide proper training, and follow strict protocols for hazardous activities. Worker protection extends beyond physical safety to include reasonable working hours, vacation time, and protection against employment discrimination. Consumer protection laws ensure product safety and fair business practices through active enforcement agencies. Swiss consumer goods must meet strict safety standards, and misleading advertising faces serious penalties. These protections extend to financial services, where banking and insurance regulations protect consumers against fraudulent practices and ensure transparent fee structures. Social services provide support systems for vulnerable populations through unemployment assistance, disability services, and elderly care programs. While these services maintain high-quality standards, accessing them as a foreign resident can require navigating complex bureaucratic procedures and meeting specific residency requirements. Navigating Swiss visa requirements and bureaucratic procedures requires patience and attention to detail that matches Swiss precision standards. The country's immigration policies balance openness to skilled workers and tourists with strict controls that maintain social cohesion and economic stability. Tourist visits from most Western countries require no advance visa for stays up to 90 days within any 180-day period under Schengen Agreement rules. However, Swiss immigration officers can deny entry if they suspect intentions to work illegally or overstay permitted periods. Having proof of sufficient funds, return transportation, and accommodation arrangements helps demonstrate legitimate tourist purposes. During border inspections, student visas require acceptance at recognized Swiss educational institutions plus proof of financial resources to support living costs during studies. Swiss authorities estimate monthly living expenses at 1,400 to 2,000 francs for students, depending on location and lifestyle. Student visa holders can work part-time during studies, but face restrictions on weekly working hours and must maintain academic progress to retain visa status. Work permits depend on nationality, qualifications, and job offers from Swiss employers. EU citizens enjoy simplified procedures through bilateral agreements that allow relatively free movement for employment purposes. Non-EU citizens face quota systems and must demonstrate skills that Swiss or EU workers cannot provide. Highly qualified professionals in fields like finance, technology, and healthcare find more opportunities, but competition remains intense even for skilled positions. Residence permits come in various categories with different rights and obligations. B permits allow temporary residence for specific purposes like employment or family reunification. C permits provide permanent residence status with most rights of Swiss citizens except voting. The path from temporary to permanent residence typically requires continuous legal residence for multiple years plus integration requirements like language proficiency. Swiss bureaucracy operates through systematic procedures that reward preparation and penalize mistakes or incomplete applications. Government offices maintain specific hours and appointment systems that require advanced planning. Language requirements vary by canton, with some requiring proficiency in local languages for certain permits or services. Having official translations of important documents prepared in advance saves time and prevents delays in administrative processes. Banking requirements for residents include mandatory account opening procedures that verify identity, tax status, and income sources. Swiss banks maintain strict compliance standards that can complicate account opening for foreign residents without established credit histories or local employment. Having employment contracts, residence permits, and tax documentation organized facilitates banking relationships essential for Swiss daily life. Tax obligations begin immediately for Swiss residents, with complex rules that vary by canton and municipality. Income taxes, wealth taxes, and mandatory social insurance contributions create significant financial obligations that must be budgeted carefully. Tax rates vary dramatically between locations, making residents' choice important for financial planning. Professional tax advice becomes valuable for anyone with complex income sources or international financial obligations. Housing searches require understanding Swiss rental markets that favor long-term tenants with stable employment and excellent references. Rental applications typically require employment confirmation, previous landlord references, and sometimes personal guarantees. Housing discrimination, while illegal, can affect foreign applicants who don't understand local customs or lack established Swiss networks. For obtaining references, integration requirements for permanent residents include language proficiency tests and civic knowledge examinations that assess understanding of Swiss culture history, and political systems. These requirements reflect Swiss values about cultural assimilation and civic participation. Preparation courses are available, but require time investments. An additional cost beyond basic living expenses, cultural adaptation extends beyond legal requirements to include understanding social expectations that affect daily interactions. Swiss punctuality expectations, noise regulations, recycling obligations, and social customs create informal rules that can cause conflicts if ignored. Learning these cultural codes helps prevent misunderstandings that can affect housing, employment, and social relationships. Emergency contacts and procedures become essential knowledge for Swiss residents. Understanding how to contact police, medical services, and emergency assistance in mountain regions can be crucial during emergencies. Having appropriate insurance coverage and emergency contact information organized provides security and peace of mind for residents and long-term visitors. After spending time in Switzerland, you start to understand that this country represents something unique in the modern world, a place where traditional values and cutting-edge innovation coexist. Without constant conflict, the Switzerland that most people imagine, with pristine villages and perfect mountain views, actually exists. But it exists alongside a complex, multicultural society that works harder than most places to maintain quality of life for its residents. Living here on a tight budget forces you to engage with Swiss culture at ground level, rather than tourist level. You learn that Swiss people aren't cold or unfriendly. They're very protective of their personal space and skeptical of superficial charm. Once you prove yourself reliable and genuine, Swiss friendships offer loyalty and support that surpass casual relationships common in more socially fluid cultures. You discover that Swiss women appreciate honesty and competence more than flashy gestures or aggressive pursuit. The dating culture may move slowly, but relationships that develop tend to be based on genuine compatibility rather than temporary attraction. The famous Swiss efficiency isn't just about trains arriving on time, it reflects deeper cultural values about respecting other people's time and maintaining systems that work predictably. This creates daily life rhythms that can feel restrictive initially, but eventually provide security and stability that many other places lack. Knowing that shops close at specific times, that services operate reliably, and that social obligations get honored creates predictability that reduces daily stress once you adapt to the expectations. Swiss food culture teaches you to appreciate quality over quantity and seasonal availability over constant variety. Yes, restaurant meals cost more than most places, but the ingredients are genuinely superior and the preparation reflects traditions developed over centuries. Learning to cook traditional Swiss dishes at home connects you to cultural heritage, while managing costs effectively. The local markets, wine festivals, and seasonal celebrations provide authentic cultural experiences that tourism brochures can't capture. The natural environment here isn't just scenery. It is integral to Swiss identity and daily life in ways that affect everything from work schedules to social activities. Swiss people don't just appreciate mountains and lakes aesthetically. They use them actively for recreation, exercise, and social bonding. Understanding this relationship with nature helps explain Swiss environmental policies, outdoor equipment obsessions, and social expectations about physical fitness and outdoor participation. The multilingual environment creates cognitive flexibility that extends beyond communication to problem-solving and cultural adaptation. Switching between German efficiency, French sophistication, and Italian warmth depending on region and context teaches adaptability skills useful far beyond Switzerland. This linguistic diversity also means that finding your cultural niche requires exploring different regions rather than assuming all of Switzerland operates identically. Swiss economic success isn't accidental. It results from systematic approaches to education, innovation, and international cooperation that other countries struggle to replicate. The vocational training systems, research institutions, and business practices that create Swiss prosperity also create social expectations about professional competence and continuous learning that affect daily interactions and career opportunities. The banking secrecy myths aside, Switzerland does offer financial stability and privacy protections that attract international residents. However, the tax obligations, bureaucratic requirements, and living costs mean that financial advantages require substantial income levels to realize. For budget travelers and young professionals, Switzerland offers experiences and opportunities rather than immediate financial benefits. Political stability in Switzerland creates social conditions that many other countries find difficult to maintain. The direct democracy systems, federalism, and consensus-building approaches that Swiss people take for granted provide models for conflict, resolution, and social cooperation that work effectively at national scale. Understanding these political traditions helps explain Swiss skepticism about rapid changes and preference for incremental improvements. So would I recommend trying to live in Switzerland on $900 a month? If you're willing to embrace the challenge as a cultural learning experience rather than just a budget travel experiment, absolutely. You'll learn things about efficiency, quality of life, and social cooperation that you can't experience anywhere else. You'll discover that Swiss precision is an obsessive-compulsive behavior. It is a social contract that creates predictable, reliable daily life for everyone. The beautiful women, stunning scenery, and cultural sophistication are real, but they raise just the visible aspects of a society that has figured out how to balance individual freedom with collective responsibility better than most places in the world. Whether you stay for months or years, Switzerland will change your expectations about what modern society can accomplish. When people agree to prioritize long-term stability over short-term convenience, if this exploration of Swiss life has sparked your curiosity about living differently, drop a comment below about which aspects surprise you most. Would you try the $900 monthly challenge? Or does Swiss precision sound too intense for your lifestyle? And if you found this behind-the-scenes look at Switzerland valuable, sharing it helps other curious travelers discover what life is really like in one of the world's most successful countries. Switzerland might not be for everyone, but understanding how it works offers insights about quality of life, social cooperation, and cultural preservation that apply far beyond the Alps.